Kindly like, subscribe and comment to get daily updates. Adani Tradeline LLP revised. Promoter Group revoked 2.00 crore shares of Adani Power worth 65.96 crore rupees via revocation of pledged. Gautam S. Adani and Rajesh S. Adani on behalf of SB Adani Family Trust revised. Promoter Group revoked 36.75 lakh shares of Adani Power worth 12.72 crore rupees via revocation of pledged. Murad Mohdm USEIN Molidina designated person acquired 6.67 lakh shares of Aegis Logistics worth 6.67 lakh rupees by others. Sudhir Om Prakash Malhotra designated person acquired 50.00 lakh shares of Aegis Logistics worth 50 lakh rupees by others. Balkrishna Shah designated person disposed 400 shares of IR Engineering worth 7.12 lakh rupees via a market sale. Ayush Agrawal Trust Ayush Agrawal Trust promoter revoked 4.83 lakh shares of AJANTA Pharma worth 78.38 crore rupees via pledged released. Amisha Tipin Kocha designated person disposed 7.32 thousand shares of ANUH Pharma worth 28.64 lakh rupees via a market sale. Dina Satish Shah designated person disposed 9.00 thousand shares of ANUH Pharma worth 35.15 lakh rupees via a market sale. Surekha Bharat Shah designated person disposed 5.00 thousand shares of ANUH Pharma worth 19.04 lakh rupees via a market sale. Dr. Rahul Meerchandani, Director, acquired 39.80 thousand shares of ARIES AGRO worth 3.98 lakh rupees via market purchase. Mr. Akshay Meerchandani, Promoter Group, acquired 59.30 thousand shares of ARIES AGRO worth 5.93 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mr. Amol Meerchandani, Promoter Group, disposed 99.10 thousand shares of ARIES AGRO worth 9.91 lakh rupees via a market sale. Gaurav Shukla, designated person, pledged 640 shares of Asian Paints worth 11.54 lakh rupees via creation of pledged. Harmeen Mehta, designated person, acquired 22.14 thousand shares of Bharti Airtel worth 44.90 lakh rupees via ESOP. Rohit Mawar, designated person, acquired 10.17 thousand shares of Bharti Airtel worth 20.80 lakh rupees via ESOP. Yanagananda, designated person, acquired 7.82 thousand shares of Bharti Airtel worth 16.01 lakh rupees via ESOP. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, KMP, acquired 50.00 thousand shares of Bandhan Bank worth 90 lakh rupees via ESOP. Ashwani Kuber, Employee, disposed 10.00 thousand shares of Birlasoft worth 17.12 lakh rupees via a market sale. The Hindustan Times, Promoter, acquired 20.00 thousand shares of CHAMBAL Fertilizers and Chemicals worth 30.45 lakh rupees via market purchase. Zuari Global, Promoter, revoked 77.20 lakh shares of CHAMBAL Fertilizers and Chemicals worth 116.29 crore rupees via pledged. Released. Lakshmi Shivashankar, immediate relative, acquired 25.00 thousand shares of City Union Bank worth 31.82 lakh rupees via market purchase. V.N. Shivashankar, Director, acquired 25.00 thousand shares of City Union Bank worth 32 lakh rupees via market purchase. P. Varadarajan, KMP, acquired 13.85 thousand shares of Coromandel International worth 44.27 lakh rupees via ESOP. T.S. Venkateshwaram, designated person, acquired 11.82 thousand shares of Coromandel International worth 44.43 lakh rupees via ESOP. Damakirti Joshi, employed, disposed 809 shares of CRISIL worth 14.56 lakh rupees via a market sale. Ritesh Agrawal, employee, disposed 10.00 thousand shares of CRISIL worth 1.77 crore rupees via a market sale. Satnam Singh Kalra, employee, disposed 880 shares of CRISIL worth 15.56 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mahindra Kumar Sarvaiya, employee, acquired 8.58 thousand shares of Dhanvarsha Finvest worth 2.57 lakh rupees via ESOP. Shankar Banerjee, designated person, disposed 1,000 shares of Dr. Lal PathLabs worth 18.69 lakh rupees via market sale. Anuj Bansal, employee, pledged 700 shares of EICHER Motors worth 1.49 crore rupees via creation of pledged. Anuj Bansal, employee, disposed 700 shares of EICHER Motors worth 1.49 crore rupees via a market sale. Anuj Bansal, employee, revoked 700 shares of EICHER Motors worth 1.49 crore rupees via revocation of pledged. Minahar Kapoor, employee, pledged 700 shares of EICHER Motors worth 1.49 crore rupees via creation of pledged. Minahar Kapoor, employee, disposed 700 shares of EICHER Motors worth 1.49 crore rupees via a market sale. N. Chokalingam, employee, pledged 300 shares of EICHER Motors worth 44.42 lakh rupees via creation of pledged. Arun Kedia, revised, director, acquired 50.00 thousand shares of Garnet Construction worth 6.04 lakh rupees via market purchase. Ajit Shetty, designated person, disposed 2.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 21.70 lakh rupees via a market sale. Anil Bhavnani, designated person, disposed 4.80 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 51.68 lakh rupees via a market sale. Arup Kumar Rakshit, designated person, disposed 5.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 54.15 lakh rupees via a market sale. Arvind Kapil, designated person, disposed 30.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 3.10 crore rupees via a market sale. Ashish Punnoz Ibrahim, designated person, disposed 5.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 54.11 lakh rupees via a market sale. Asmita Paras Gada, designated person, disposed 10.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 1.07 crore rupees via a market sale. Bhaskar Chandra Panda, designated person, disposed 3.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 31.93 lakh rupees via a market sale. Bindu Madhav P. Tikekar, designated person, disposed 5.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 54.14 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mukesh Dayaneshwar Pisse, designated person, disposed 2.80 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 30.04 lakh rupees via a market sale. Neeraj Chawla, designated person, disposed 1,000 shares of HDFC Bank worth 10.85 lakh rupees via a market sale. Sanjay John D'Souza, designated person, disposed 5.00 thousand shares of HDFC Bank worth 54.06 lakh rupees via a market sale. Vikrant N. Tandon, designated person, disposed 1,000 shares of HDFC Bank worth 10.54 lakh rupees via a market sale. Sanjay Vij, designated person, disposed 2.00 thousand shares of HDFC Life Insurance Company worth 12.43 lakh rupees via a market sale. Gaurav Bhatia, promoter, disposed 23.23 thousand shares of Hindustan Tin Works worth 10.39 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mr. Paras Bhatia, promoter, acquired 24.67 thousand shares of Hindustan Tin Works worth 11.04 lakh rupees via market purchase. Tarapur Anjali S, designated person, disposed 2.00 thousand shares of Housing Development Finance Corp. worth 36 lakh rupees via a market sale. Tiwari Manish, designated person, pledged 15.01 thousand shares of Housing Development Finance Corp. worth 2.72 crore rupees via creation of pledged. Ashish Jain, employed, acquired 20.00 thousand shares of ICICI Bank worth 35.16 lakh rupees via ESOS. Loknath Mishra, employee, acquired 42.90 thousand shares of ICICI Bank worth 72.80 lakh rupees via ESOS. Ashish AMBASTA, employee, disposed 10.00 thousand shares of ITC worth 19.94 lakh rupees via a market sale. DVR Rajiv Mohan, employee, disposed 2.10 thousand shares of ITC worth 4.23 lakh rupees via a market sale. DVR Rajiv Mohan, employee, revoked 96.00 thousand shares of ITC worth 1.89 crore rupees via revocation of pledged. Amit Jain, designated person, disposed 1,000 shares of IndiaMART InterMESH worth 32.50 lakh rupees via a market sale. Devendra Singh, designated person, acquired 984 shares of IndiaMART InterMESH worth 98.40 thousand rupees via EICER. Devendra Singh, designated person, disposed 984 shares of IndiaMART InterMESH worth 31.98 lakh rupees via a market sale. Dinesh Gulati, designated person, disposed 8.30 thousand shares of IndiaMART InterMESH worth 2.62 crore rupees via a market sale. Madhup Agrawal, designated person, disposed 18.09 thousand shares of IndiaMART InterMESH worth 5.67 crore rupees via a market sale. Sudhir Gupta, designated person, disposed 500 shares of IndiaMART InterMESH worth 16.19 lakh rupees via a market sale. Pradeep Singh Johar, promoter, acquired 50.00 thousand shares of JAMNA Auto Industries worth 22.19 lakh rupees via market purchase. Atul Mehra, employee, disposed 50.00 thousand shares of JM Financial worth 41.03 lakh rupees via a market sale. Danta Enterprises Private, promoter group, revoked 7.00 lakh shares of JSW Energy worth 4.05 crore rupees via pledged released. Glebe Trading Private, promoter group, revoked 55.00 lakh shares of JSW Energy worth 31.82 crore rupees via pledged released. JSW Steel Employees Welfare Trust ESOP Plan 2016 AC. Other, disposed 38.26 thousand shares of JSW Steel worth 1.07 crore rupees via a market sale. JSW Techno Projects Management, promoter group, revoked 16.10 lakh shares of JSW Steel worth 44.62 crore rupees via pledged released. JTPM Metal Traders Private, promoter group, acquired 30.00 lakh shares of JSW Steel worth 83.87 crore rupees via market purchase. Instant Holdings, promoter group, acquired 31.73 thousand shares of KEC International worth 99.93 lakh rupees via market purchase. Jameen Bharat, KMP, disposed 10.00 thousand shares of Kotak Mahindra Bank worth 1.36 crore rupees via a market sale. Amit Chadha, Director, disposed 2.60 thousand shares of L&T Technology Services worth 41.77 lakh rupees via a market sale. Snehal Oza, designated person, disposed 700 shares of L&T Technology Services worth 11.07 lakh rupees via a market sale. Lloyds Metals and Minerals Trading LLP, promoter, acquired 1.20 crore shares of Lloyds Metals and Energy worth 9 crore rupees via allotment. Lloyds Metals and Minerals Trading LLP, promoter, disposed 1.20 crore shares of Lloyds Metals and Energy worth 2.25 crore rupees via conversion of security. RAGHUVESH Holdings Private Limited, promoter group, revoked 39.91 lakh shares of LT Foods worth 8.22 crore rupees via pledged released. Kedar Gadgil, designated person, disposed 425 shares of Larsen & Toubro Infotech worth 10.39 lakh rupees via market sale. SAMVARTHANAMOTHERSON International Limited, promoter, revoked 69.85 lakh shares of MOTHERSON Sumi Systems worth 83.37 crore rupees via pledged released. Max Ventures Investment Holdings Private, promoter, pledged 7.65 lakh shares of Max Financial Services worth 41.09 crore rupees via creation of pledged. Avadhu Joshi, employee, disposed 506 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 8.67 lakh rupees via a market sale. Dr. Deepak Sanghavi, employee, acquired 1.30 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.18 lakh rupees via ESOP. Dr. Deepak Sanghavi, employee, disposed 50 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 90,000 rupees via market sale. Dr. Nilesh Shah, employee, acquired 13.00 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 91.75 lakh rupees via ESOP. Dr. Nilesh Shah, employee, disposed 2.12 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 37.56 lakh rupees via a market sale. Dr. Deepak Sanghavi, employee, disposed 400 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 6.83 lakh rupees via a market sale. Jayant Rajani, employee, disposed 952 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 16.99 lakh rupees via market sale. Mr. Ajit Vetter, employee, acquired 1.40 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.88 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Anupam Datta, employee, acquired 3.90 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 27.53 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Ravidhut Joshi, employee, acquired 18.37 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 1.30 crore rupees via ESOP. Mr. Ravidhut Joshi, employee, disposed 2.30 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 41.20 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mr. Haider Khan, employee, acquired 1,000 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 7.06 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Iqbal Ahmed, employee, acquired 1.70 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 12 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Jayant Rajani, employee, acquired 6.50 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 45.88 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Kunal Sinha, employee, acquired 1.30 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.18 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Mayur Nigali, employee, acquired 800 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 5.65 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Parvez Hussain, employee, acquired 1.30 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.18 lakh rupees via ESOP. Mr. Rahul Kavankar, employee, acquired 1.30 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.18 lakh rupees via EICICI. Mr. Chirag Chandra Hawal, employee, acquired 780 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 5.51 lakh rupees via EICICI. Mr. Shefali Desai, immediate relative, disposed 1.27 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 22.84 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mr. Sunil Pahuja, employee, disposed 1,000 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 17.70 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mr. Sushant Kamath, employee, acquired 1.83 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 12.94 lakh rupees via EICICI. Mr. Vijay Soni, employee, acquired 1.70 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 12 lakh rupees via EICICI. Mr. Vijender Singh, employee, acquired 1.39 lakh shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.83 crore rupees via EICICI. Mr. Vijender Singh, employee, disposed 5.33 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 95.32 lakh rupees via a market sale. Mr. Vishal Soni, employee, acquired 2.20 thousand shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 15.53 lakh rupees via EICICI. Parvez Hussain, employee, disposed 537 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 9.55 lakh rupees via a market sale. Rahul Kavankar, employee, disposed 100 shares of Metropolis Healthcare worth 1.80 lakh rupees via a market sale. Ashwin Datla, director, acquired 32.13 thousand shares of NCL Industries worth 29.99 lakh rupees via market purchase. Bhalchandra Yeshwant Joshi, designated person, pledged 34.13 thousand shares of Nippon Life India Asset Management worth 92.62 lakh rupees via creation of pledged. Central India Industries, promoter, pledged 40.00 lakh shares of Orient Electric worth 40 lakh rupees via off-market. Shekhavati Investments and Traders Ltd, promoter, revoked 72.60 lakh shares of Orient Electric worth 72.60 lakh rupees via off-market. Piramal Enterprises Senior Employees Welfare Trust, other, disposed 6.79 thousand shares of Piramal Enterprises worth 96.73 lakh rupees via EICICI. Anj Land Holdings, promoter group, acquired 71.57 thousand shares of Pudumji Paper Products worth 10.42 lakh rupees via market purchase. Venkat Ramudu Jasti, director's immediate relative, acquired 20.00 thousand shares of SUVE in Life Sciences worth 10 lakh rupees via market purchase. Venkateshan Rangachari, employee, acquired 8.00 thousand shares of Solara Active Pharma Sciences worth 26.50 lakh rupees via EICICI. Astha Trust promoter acquired 9 shares of Startech Finance worth 448 rupees via market purchase. Idmija JAS, director's immediate relative, acquired 5.00 thousand shares of Suven Pharmaceuticals worth 34.29 lakh rupees via market purchase. SN Das other disposed 364 shares of TCI Express worth 2.92 lakh rupees via a market sale. Jale Singh, designated person, disposed 600 shares of Transport Corporation of India worth 1.40 lakh rupees via a market sale. Rajpal Dhaka, designated person, disposed 1,000 shares of Transport Corporation of India worth 2.33 lakh rupees via a market sale. Jayalakshmi Venkataraman, promoter, disposed 5.67 thousand shares of Ultramarine and Pigments worth 15.80 lakh rupees via a market sale. S. Narayan, Promoter Group, disposed 2.05 thousand shares of ultramarine and pigments worth 5.70 lakh rupees via a market sale. Sridhar Sundararajan, Promoter, disposed 4.62 thousand shares of ultramarine and pigments worth 12.77 lakh rupees via a market sale. Atul Daga, Director, acquired 922 shares of Ultratech Cement worth 36.97 lakh rupees via ESOS. Mithun Joseph Chittilapalli, Director, acquired 500 shares of V-Guard Industries worth 84.41 thousand rupees via market purchase. Anirudh Gupta, Director's immediate relative, disposed 1.83 thousand shares of Vesuvius India worth 18.16 lakh rupees via a market sale. Zuari Global Limited, Promoter, pledged 11.00 lakh shares of Zuari Agrochemicals worth 9.78 crore rupees via creation of pledged